Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. As most of you know, I recently bought a Longines Dolcevita in a smaller size than the one that I used to own, and I absolutely love it. Many of you may also know that a while ago I bought my wife a tank style dress watch that I was completely jealous of, but it's just way too small. Strangely enough, Longines considers this a lady's watch as well. Tonight we're going to look at both of these watches side by side and marvel at their brilliance. So let us begin. So here is my wife's gorgeous little Esq watch. When I first found this watch, it sounded like it was going to be tiny. However, I figured I would order it, and if it isn't too small, I would keep it because my wife isn't really a watch person and wouldn't really care. But if it was too small, I would give it to her, and this is definitely too small. This truly is a lady size watch. And that is coming from someone who loves vintage watches and vintage watch proportions, but there is such a thing as a lady's size watch, and this is it. The dial is just amazing. I love how these lines radiate from the bottom and not the center. It's kind of a deco-y thing. Yeah, when I purchased this, I was so sad that it was so small. I did a search for men's ESQ tank style watch, but they didn't come up with something similar to this in a larger case size. At least not that I've seen so far. I love the jewel there on the crown. The case is a little bit scuffed up. I'll have to polish it smooth again, but she's worn this watch once so far. Apparently, we need to have more date nights. The blued hands are amazing looking. And if you haven't seen my earlier videos on this watch, ESQ is actually movado. This is a quartz two-hander. Just an absolutely brilliant little watch. And here's my brand new Longines Dolcevita. This one is considered a lady's watch. It's quartz, so the case is a bit smaller and thinner than the one that I used to own, which for me is perfect. I have actually been wearing this watch a ton, whereas the one that I used to own, I think I wore it a few times when it was brand new, and that was about it. These watches also have an absolutely brilliant dial and a sub-seconds complication there, so it kind of gives it away that it's quartz, since that's taking away. But it's nice and small, so it's kind of subtle. These hands are also blued. Not sure I can get them to show up in this light though. But they are also pretty amazing looking. They aren't Dauphine hands, they're kind of sword hand style. Oh, there's a little bit of the blue right there. But this dial definitely has the ESQ beat. Just because of all those distortions and stuff, that is just really fun to see when it's on your wrist. And this watch, even though I didn't buy it in a store, has some great memories of shopping in my favorite mall and trying one of these on in person right before buying this. So it almost feels like I did buy this in a store. I forget how I first bumped into the Dolcevita line. It was a few years ago now. But I'm glad I did, because these are just amazing. And let's do a size comparison. You can see how next to my wife's watch, this looks more like a unisex watch, or even a men's watch. Since we're talking about tank style watches, I feel like they should be on the smaller end anyway, but of course I'm biased. But I would at least classify this as a unisex watch, for sure. But man, they're both amazingly brilliant. They have their own unique aesthetic, and yet they're clearly of a similar overall look. They both have the elegance of pieces like Cartier tanks. I mean, the Dolcevita is somewhat of an homage of the Tank Americain, which itself is sort of a more attainable variant of the Cintre, which if I truly had a Grail watch, that would be on the short list. Oh, that would be so cool to have a Cintre. Those are just amazing. Alright, let me take off the Max Bill, and we'll kind of hold these watches up over my wrist so you can see the difference in size. Figure out how I'm going to do this. So here are the two watches sitting on my 7-inch wrist. You can definitely see the difference in size here. Even though I love smaller watches, my wife's watch is too small. However, the Longines to me just looks perfect for a tank watch. If you haven't seen my review of either of these watches, I'll have those linked in the description below. So there's my wife's watch, which I would categorize as truly a lady's watch, as you can see by that size. And the Dolcevita, which I would consider unisex, on my 7-inch wrist. And this watch is on a strap that arrived just today. This is a handmade ostrich foot strap, and I'm going to have to do a video on it because it's pretty amazing. And how they shipped it is something I haven't seen before in ordering watch straps. And it was actually pretty affordable. Crazy. So keep your eyes open for that video. I'll give you all the details. So yeah, it's pretty cool that my wife and I have matching watches. So when we do go on formal date nights and whatnot, we can both wear them and be a bit matchy-matchy. And her watch looks really great on her. Fits her perfectly. So there you have it, his and hers tank style dress watches, and both of them are just gorgeous. Thanks for watching.